Forced to obey, Son Ye-jin and Lee Min-jung's casting sparks debate. Imagine a world where the sharpest blade isn't wielded in vengeance, but in the quiet desperation of a job interview gone wrong. Welcome to the twisted genius of Park Chan-wook's latest masterpiece, No Other Choice, where every laugh hides a scream and every promotion comes at a price no one wants to pay. In the glittering underbelly of Korean cinema, where directors like Park Chan-wook have long danced on the edge of beauty and brutality, the casting of No Other Choice feels less like a decision and more like fate's sly wink. Picture this: a lavish late-night episode on Channel 15, aired just last night on September 12, 2025, under the buzzing title, Number One Movie That You Have No Choice But to Watch This Year, Na Young-seok's Buzzing. The studio hums with electric anticipation as a powerhouse panel assembles. Park himself, the enigmatic maestro behind visceral epics like Oldboy and The Handmaiden, flanked by his stellar ensemble, the brooding intensity of Lee Byung-hun, the luminous grace of Son Ye-jin, the understated menace of Park Hee-soon, the wry charm of Lee Sung-min, and the raw emotional depth of Yeom Hye-ran. It's a gathering that crackles with the kind of insider energy that makes you lean in, as if you're eavesdropping on the birth of something legendary. What unfolds isn't just anecdotes, it's a tapestry of serendipity and sweat, revealing how this film, adapted from Donald E. Westlake's 1997 novel, The Axe, a biting satire on corporate cannibalism, found its soul through whispers among friends and frantic script revisions. As the camera pans across their faces, lit by the soft glow of studio lights, you can't help but feel a thrill, a reminder that behind every silver screen triumph lies the messy human grind of creation, where egos clash and dreams are forged in the fire of collaboration. Son Ye-jin, radiant yet grounded in that effortless way that has captivated audiences since her breakout in the classic, back in 2003, steals a moment to recount her improbable entry into this whirlwind. Fresh from the joys and chaos of marriage to Hyun-bin in 2022 and the arrival of their son in June that same year, she had been navigating the foggy waters of post-wedding uncertainty. Schedules upended, priorities reshuffled, the world suddenly measured in nap times and midnight feedings, rather than call sheets and red carpets. After marriage, everything felt like a question mark. She confesses with a soft laugh that echoes the vulnerability of a woman reclaiming her spotlight. It's a sentiment that hits like a quiet gut punch, evoking the universal ache of reinvention. Who hasn't stared at a blank calendar and wondered if the old self still fits? Yet, in this haze of hesitation, a beacon flickered. Her close friend, the effervescent Lee Min-jung, wife of none other than co-star Lee Byung-hun. Over a casual chat, perhaps over coffee or a stolen afternoon away from their respective families, Min-jung, ever the intuitive confidant, probed gently about Ye-jin's plans. No projects yet, Ye-jin admitted, her voice carrying the weight of unspoken fears. And then, like a plot twist scripted by the gods of cinema, Min-jung dropped the bomb. Director Park Chan-wook, that visionary alchemist of dark desires and moral mazes, was teaming up with her husband on something extraordinary. He has you in mind, Min-jung revealed, her words laced with the excitement of shared secrets. He's sending you the script. In that instant, Ye-jin's heart must have raced, a cocktail of relief and exhilaration washing over her, the kind that makes your skin tingle with possibility. It's profoundly moving, this thread of female solidarity in an industry often riddled with rivalry. Min-jung, who herself juggled stardom with motherhood after welcoming her second child in 2023, became the bridge, turning a private doubt into a public triumph. One can't help but admire the quiet power of such friendships, how they stitch together the fabric of careers amid life's relentless pull. The script arrived like a lifeline tossed into turbulent seas, and Ye-jin dove in headfirst, her fingers flying through the pages with the fervor of someone rediscovering a lost love. "It's here," she thought, that simple phrase bursting with the raw anticipation of an artist sensing her muse. What she found within those lines wasn't just words on paper, but a character, Miri, the steadfast wife in a crumbling domestic empire, that mirrored her own evolving reality, infusing the role with an authenticity born of lived experience. Reading it was pure bliss, she shares on the show, her eyes lighting up as she mimics the giddy immersion, pondering the nuances of Miri's quiet strength amid chaos. There's a lighthearted laugh that punctuates the memory, But beneath it lingers a deeper resonance, the joy of creation as catharsis, especially for a mother returning to the fray. Park Chan-wook, no stranger to probing the human psyche, recall the obsessive spirals in Thirst or the erotic intrigues of The Handmaiden, had crafted something that felt tailor-made. Yet initially, her part was a mere whisper in the margins, a supporting thread in the grand weave of Mansu's descent. He admits it freely during the panel, his voice carrying that trademark blend of humility and mischief. It was small in the first draft. I thought she'd say no. Friends ribbed him post-release, their queries laced with affectionate bafflement. Why cast her in so little? But Park's response is pure poetry. It was just really cool to have her. It's a testament to his intuitive genius, how he sees potential where others see sketches, much like his early collaborations with cinematographer Kim Woo-hyung, whose lens has elevated Park's films from mere stories to symphonies of light and shadow. Yet Ye-jin, ever the spirited collaborator, wasn't content to fade into the background. With a playful glint, she confesses to threatening him, just a bit, to amplify her presence, her words drawing chuckles from the panel. And Park, ever the responsive craftsman who spent 2 decades nurturing this adaptation after first encountering Westlake's novel, obliged spectacularly. He ballooned her role, layering in depths that transformed Miri from observer to linchpin, then lavished extra care on the edit, sculpting scenes to spotlight Ye-jin's nuanced glow. Watching her recount this, you feel a surge of admiration for her tenacity. It's the spark that turns good films into great ones, a reminder that true artistry thrives on bold asks and generous yields. As the conversation flows, the panel peels back more layers of the film's alchemy, blending laughter with the gravity of shared craft. Lee Byung-hun, whose prior turns with Park in Joint Security Area back in 2000, forged a bond as unshakable as the DMZ's tensions, leans in with his signature intensity, eyes alight as he praises the director's labyrinthine mind. He gives you 5 instructions at once, Byung-hun quips, and by the time you're in frame, you're a whirlwind. It's a vivid snapshot of Park's method, exacting, immersive, the kind that demands actors surrender to his vision while imprinting their own fire. Yeom Hye-ran chimes in with tales of on-set epiphanies, her voice warm with the camaraderie that only comes from surviving a Park production, while Park Hee-soon and Lee Sung-min trade barbs about the script's evolving beast, hinting at Cha Sung-won and Young-seok's off-screen antics that kept morale sky high. These stories aren't mere filler. They're the heartbeat of No Other Choice, echoing Park's oeuvre where personal vendettas mirror societal fractures, from the vengeance-fueled fury of his Vengeance trilogy to the sly eroticism of Decision to Leave in 2022. The film's pre-sales to over 200 countries already shatter records set by that very thriller, a global hunger that speaks to Park's universal bite, his ability to cloak profound critiques in stylistic splendor. One senses the electric undercurrent of relief in the room, the collective exhale after a project that, as Park once revealed, languished for 20 years due to funding woes, only to bloom into this 139-minute odyssey of mordant wit and moral vertigo. It's exhilarating, this glimpse into the machine, evoking the same addictive pull as binging a K-drama, where every episode ends on a cliffhanger. At the story's core slithers Mansu, embodied by Lee Byung-hun, with a coiled ferocity that peels back the layers of a man unmade. For 25 years, he's been the unsung hero of the paper industry, a pulp specialist whose life is a meticulously papered facade of suburban bliss, the dream home he and Miri clawed to own, nestled in verdant woods like a trophy against the grind. 2 children, one a cello prodigy whose lessons strained the budget, the other a teen navigating the thorns of blended family. Even the golden retrievers, symbols of uncomplicated loyalty in a world gone feral. "I've got it all," Mansu muses in the opening barbecue scene, grilling eels gifted by his soon-to-betray him. American overlords, the blossom-strewn garden, a cheeky prelude to Paradise Lost. Park's camera, in league with Kim Woo-hyung's masterful eye, lingers on these details with a predatory affection, the glint of sunlight off a beer bottle, the sizzle of flesh on coals, building a tension that's as deliciously tactile as it is foreboding. Then, the axe falls. Layoffs under new corporate masters, a 20% cull that spares no one, not even the pulp man of the year. What follows is a spiral into absurdity and atrocity, Mansu hatching a plan as audacious as it is unhinged, eliminating rivals not with resumes, but with ruthless finality, to claw back his throne. It's a plot that unfurls with the ornate precision of a Rube Goldberg machine crossed with Wile E. Coyote's folly. Each hit devolving into slapstick horror, botched stakeouts in absurd disguises, FaceTime interruptions from Miri at the worst moments, victims who defy tidy dispatch with their own quirky rebellions. Byung-hun sells it all, the pathetic flailing, the flashes of cold resolve, with a physicality that's anarchic and heartbreaking, his mustache twitching like a barometer of unraveling manhood. There's a tragic hilarity in watching this everyman, once the steady provider, reduced to chanting self-help mantras in unemployment circles or fleeing a warehouse gig in his underwear after begging time off for an interview. It stirs a complex brew of empathy and unease, a mirror to our own breadwinner anxieties in an era where AI and offshoring render loyalty obsolete, where the phrase "no other choice" echoes like a corporate incantation, justifying every ethical skid. Yet amid Mansu's blood-soaked job hunt, it's Miri, Son Ye-jin's anchor, who grounds the satire in aching humanity, her performance a masterclass in restrained fury and fragile hope. As the family unravels, Netflix subscriptions axed, cars sold, the house teetering on the market, she becomes the quiet warrior, her instincts sharpened by motherhood's forge, FaceTiming Mansu with updates that blend mundane worry. The dogs miss their walks. And piercing insight. We're in this war together. Ye-jin's portrayal draws from her own odyssey, infusing Miri with a naturalism that elevates the film's emotional ballast. It's as if the role was written in the stars, post-childbirth authenticity bleeding into every glance, every weary smile. Park, attuned to such symmetries, dedicates the film to Costa Gavras, whose 2005 adaptation Le Couperet paved the way, but infuses it with his signature flourishes, trance-like visions that blur reality's edges, production designs that turn suburban normalcy into a funhouse of dread, a score by Jo Young-wook that weaves sardonic strings with throbbing dread. Critics at Venice, where it snagged an 812-minute ovation, hail it as Park's most humane romp yet, a wicked cocktail of Parasite's class rage and Oldboy's visceral punch, visually playful yet corrosive to the bone. Time Out crowns it a masterful work, potentially his pinnacle, while Variety lauds its deliriously entertaining skewering of downsizing's derangement. One feels the pulse of timeliness here, a rage-filled blood drench that resonates from Busan boardrooms to Wall Street water coolers, where fragile masculinities crack under capitalism's boot. As the panel winds down, the air thick with unspoken bonds. Byung-hun and Min-jung's decades-spanning love, weathered by a 2014 scandal that tested but ultimately fortified their union. Ye-jin's Bin-jin fairy tale, from crash landing on U-Sparks to family bliss, there's a palpable sense of closure, of lives intertwined mirroring the film's themes. Park reflects on the 20-year gestation, a saga of funding droughts and creative hungers, now birthing this beast that's already TIFF-bound, with Byung-hun earning a special tribute. It's a narrative loop, really, from Min-jung's offhand tip to Ye-jin's expanded arc, from Mansu's futile kills to the ensemble's triumphant synergy. And in that, No Other Choice transcends thriller tropes, becoming a love letter to persistence, the artists, the actors, the everymans. Watching these titans reminisce, you can't shake the thrill, the quiet awe at how cinema, in Park's hands, alchemizes pain into poetry, reminding us that sometimes the only choice is to laugh through the blood. As the credits would roll on such a night, one lingers on the what-ifs. What if Min-jung hadn't called? What if Ye-jin hadn't pushed? But in Park's world, every fork is fatal, every gain a gamble, and that's the intoxicating hook that keeps us coming back, hearts pounding for more.